Hey, Randall. How you doing, man? This is Chris from Cumberland, Virginia. Yeah, I was just checking out your podcast just the other day, and I know what it's like being locked up, but I've never been in no maximum security. You know, I've been in like a level 1, level 2, small shit. You know what I'm saying? I've had a lot of probation violations and all that mess. My original sentence was 21 years because of a nighttime burglary. So they give me 21 years nighttime because it was in the nighttime, man. And I got out, been straight since 2011. Did my prison time, my jail time, tired of that shit. But anyway, man, just keep your head up, man. I'm praying for you. Just that amount of time just seems unreal for anyone to pull. You've been there for, I don't know, 30 some years now. It's ridiculous how much time you got, man. I'm sure you're hanging in there and doing your thing and all, man. But man, my heart goes out to you and your family, bro. Stay safe.
Hello, this is a prepaid call from an inmate at the Virginia Department of Corrections, Red Onion State Prison. To accept this call, press 0.
This is Randall Via, a.k.a. Red Onion Randy. I'm currently serving 1,214 years for capital murder and armed robbery. Now, and finally, at a level 3, Buckingham Correctional Center. Stone's throw from where I grew up. If you have any questions or comments or want to leave a message or whatever, I've got a voicemail line. That number is 1-888-524-1932. You can also visit my website, which is new and improved and got different features and whatnot, at www.redonionrandy.com. I hope you do. Let's get started with the podcast.
Hey, Randy, big fan of the show and the podcast. I just have a quick and simple, easy question. How old do you think you'll be when you get out of jail? Thank you. And stay safe.
As I record this, I am currently 46. I've applied for a pardon. I have basically everything in my favor. To be realistic, I would say 47 years old. I turned 47 on December the 4th, 2025. The new governor will take over from Glenn Youngkin, the current governor, January 15th of 2026. My pardon won't be filed until probably around September, October. There's still things we have to get and work on. The chances of Glenn Youngkin and his clemency / pardon board receiving it and actually reading it and making a decision, yay or nay, is probably very slim unless God just performs an outright miracle for me, which would be cool. So I'm assuming it will be under the new governor next year, and it's all signs are pointing towards Miss Abigail Spanberger. And she has already promised to cut the prison population in half. That bodes very, very well for me. And I've done everything I possibly can to rehabilitate myself and to show that I've been rehabilitated. So my answer is 47 years old. That's when I realistically think I'll get out of prison. Nothing is carved in stone, of course, except God's word. We'll see what happens. Take care and stay safe.
Hey, Randy, it's Caleb out here in Alaska. A couple questions for you. The first one Just the role of dreams in prison and sleep, how it's a sort of escape for you, and just how it feels to wake up, find yourself in prison after a good dream or whatnot.
I received another call from Caleb in Alaska, asking me about dreams. How do you wake up from a good dream in prison? What do you dream of? That sort of thing. First of all, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I love my sleep. If I could sleep for 15 hours a day in here, I would not hesitate for a second. Because I have some wild dreams. I mean, I have some pretty crazy. As a matter of fact, my wife is not going to like this, but I'm going to tell it anyway. So I actually had a dream the other night, and I've got a long beard now. It's actually down a little bit past my collarbone, right about in that area. And I've never had a long beard before, so I decided this year to just grow it out and, see what happens, see what it looks like, before cutting it eventually, which I'm sure I will wind up trimming it down eventually, though I'll never go clean shaven. So I was dreaming in the mirror, I was dreaming, standing in front of the mirror, and I was trimming my beard up with a razor and everything, just, putting a line on it and whatnot, keeping it nice and neat. And in the dream, I was just, and I don't know why, I got a little frustrated with my wife. And I was like, you know what? Screw Nick. And I shaved my beard, but I didn't shave the sides of it. I just shaved my mustache all the way down into my chin. So all I had was these just like big, poofy, bushy sideburns. I also made the mistake of telling my wife about said dream. She was not amused. It's funny. But a lot of my dreams I don't remember. The ones I do remember are, I think they're the ones that I dream about the most. I don't know why, but a lot of times I'm back at where I was originally, grew up at with the family and whatnot at my grandma's. And, as I said in the past, my grandma lived like 300 yards away from where my mom and dad's trailer was, and it was, one kind of like clear opening with the, the gravel road and yard and all that stuff there. But for some reason, I always dream that I'm there and I'm flying. I don't know why, but just like I'm just walking, doing something, and I just I want to fly, and I just take off running. I start flapping my damn arms, and I actually start flying around. But for some reason, I'm always swooping and diving near the damn power lines, and every time I get near the power lines, and I kind of I barely miss it, and I kind of fly away, and for some reason something just sucks me right back towards the damn power lines. I notice the power lines keep getting taller and bigger, and they move, they get in my way, and I don't know what that's all about, but that's one of my most frequent dreams, though it has been a little while since I've actually dreamed that dream about flying. The second most frequent dream that I have is I'm in prison, but the prison is never actually like a prison. It's changed. It has woods inside the prison. It has a mall inside the prison. It has these different types of whatever. It's just, honestly, it's kind of like somebody just took a town or a small city or something like Charlottesville and just fenced in the whole damn town. And then that's my prison, and I'm always in there just running around fighting dudes and chasing dudes or getting chased by guys, and I have to jump in a car, and I've got the pedals smashed to the floorboards, but the car's only going like just slow as hell, and I'm looking in the mirrors. They keep getting closer, but somehow they never catch me, even though like I'm going maybe like 3 miles an hour up the road, and I'm cussing the car out. So those are, you know, my most frequent dreams. But lately, I don't know whether it's just, I don't know whether, I'm finally out of the mountains and, I'm dealing with a whole lot less stress and a whole lot less frustration, and, I don't have to be on edge as much as I did up at Red Onion or Wallens Ridge. King Mountain, not so much. I mean, they're getting a little crazy up there because you got a lot of level 5s there because they can't send them nowhere else because Red Onion and Wallens Ridge and River North are just slam-packed. The only way you can get sent up there anymore is you actually have to stab somebody or assault staff. You don't even go up there for knife charges anymore. They'll just throw you in a hole for a couple of days and put you right back on the yard now, which has got a lot of dudes messed up because they can no longer run up a debt and, drop a knife in front of the CO. Oh, damn, bro. Get locked up and get sent up there and, oh, man, I can't pay, bro. I can't pay. That excuse is out the window now. As far as how to wake up from a good dream, there's just no way to do it. There's no good way to wake up in prison. I'm sleeping, I'm happy, I'm free, I'm doing whatever. I know I dream every night. I just don't always remember said dreams. But, when I wake up and I see that damn top bunk, I see the prison walls and, everything, and it's like getting punched in the gut. I mean, I'm talking about like the big guy who knows how to punch. I'm talking like Lennox Lewis or Mike Tyson in his prime getting punched in the gut when your stomach is completely relaxed. You're not flexed at all. Though I think either way, getting hit by them would hurt no matter what. But, there's just no good way of waking up in prison, man. Good dream, bad dream, it don't matter, man. Waking up in prison sucks. But, I hope that answered your question, Caleb, and man, thank you for calling in, bro, and asking. It was actually a pretty interesting question because I really don't think about my dreams that often, unless I'm stupid enough to actually tell my wife that I said screw her.
And then the second question is a former correction officer myself. Just a relationship you've had with them over the years, some of the good, some of the bad. Appreciate the time. Have a good one.
Caleb had a second question because he's a former correctional officer in Alaska, and he asked me, about my relationships with correctional officers in the past. Most correctional officers I meet are just there. They're just part of the scenery. They're just part of the furniture, I've met a couple of good ones. I've met some really, really bad ones. Now, it's not as strict here in the state of Virginia as far as prison politics goes, whether you can talk to the COs or not, or you got to, go through like a pod representative to speak to them, like it is on the West Coast. I see, and that's the thing, like, I guess it's really up to your own personal preference. I see some gang members, they won't speak to the police no matter what, even if the police are actually doing their jobs. And you've got some that sit there and will stand on the boulevard and laugh and joke with them as long as they can get away with it. Me, I usually tend to stay away. I show respect. But as far as becoming buddy, talking every time I see them, asking them about their family, hey, man, did you go fishing over the weekend, that kind of thing, I usually tend to stay away from that simply because I'm old school. I came up in the prison system when it was a different era, it was a different time, and it was a different way of doing that time. And back then, you really didn't talk to officers that much. Nowadays here in Virginia, it's completely changed. I show respect to everyone, no matter who you are, no matter what side of the fence you're on, no matter what color your skin is, no matter what beliefs you hold. It don't matter to me, you know. I show respect. However, I do tend to distance myself a little bit. I will, you know, speak every now and then. You know, I may even, you know, wind up getting caught in a conversation, and that's okay. I don't get upset about it. I don't, you know, look for ways out of it. If it happens, it happens. But for the most part, I do keep my distance.
Hey, Randy. My name is Simon. I am a fellow convict out here in California and in San Diego. And how we do time here is very racially segregated and very political. And I've noticed that through your podcasts, you don't talk too much about the prison politics in Virginia. So I was wondering how it might be for someone who becomes incarcerated in the Virginia prison system, if where they eat, what they can and can't do, and so forth is dictated by race and or politics. Man, I really appreciate your podcast, and I hope you get home soon, dude. Keep it up.
I got another question from a guy named Simon in the California system. He asked me about prison politics. I'm actually in the pod with a guy named TK who's did a lot of time in the California prison system. You know, I've met other guys from California before, you know, through the interstate compact and so on and so forth. So I'm actually pretty familiar with y'all's system. And I know in California, for those who don't know, the blacks stay to the blacks. The whites stay to the whites. The Spanish stay to themselves, though they do deal and run with the whites on occasion. Everybody else tends to duck their head, stay in the cell, and fit in where they fit in. There is no crossing racial divide in the California prison system and in a lot of the West Coast prisons. They have what they call a tier boss for each race. And that tier boss, if you have an issue with someone or you're trying to make a deal with someone or whatever the case may be, you do not go and make that deal on your own. You go to your tier boss, and your tier boss will facilitate it that way. And that's a way for them to keep, you know, the race riots to a minimum in the California. It's also, it's just their way of doing it. And it works for them. However, here in Virginia, we don't have that. We have the politics. We have the different gangs. We have the different religious sects. We have, you know, all that bullshit. You even have racism. However, our racism isn't organized like it is on the West Coast. It's more of an individual expression. You know, you have black people that are racist towards whites. You have white people that are racist towards blacks. But they never, like, join up. They don't form groups. It's just them themselves. You know, blacks in Virginia, whites in Virginia, we talk, we hang out, we live together, we eat together, you know, we work out together. There is no segregation in the state of Virginia. And you would think that with Virginia being the first state of the South, that you would have something like that. However, it's not. You know, we all hang out, we all talk, eat together. It doesn't matter. You know, so that is the one good thing about the state of Virginia. Though the bad thing about it is because it's such individuality in the Virginia prison system, you can't get people to stand up together. You can't get people to come together in unity and be like, all right, look, y'all got to stop treating us this fucking way. You know, in California, all it really takes is one of the big shots to sit there and call a meeting among the other, tier bosses and gang leaders and whatever and say, look, we need to set our stuff aside. This is what they're doing. This is what they're trying to do. And we ain't standing for it. And all the other tier bosses, they're, for the most part, gang leaders and everybody, they're like, all right, well, that's right, man. We'll call a truce until we got this dealt with. And they come together and they stand together. We don't have that here in Virginia, and that sucks. I've told stories before about me standing up and, trying to fight the people, and you got guys in the pod cheering the police on to whoop my ass. So, from that point forward, I've always been an individual, but that's pretty much the prison politics. It's a completely different world. In some ways it's better, in some ways it's worse. But no matter what prison system you're in, it's never going to be perfect. You will never, ever find a perfect prison. There's pros and cons to all this. But at least the segregation and everything is one thing I've never had to deal with. And I hope that answers your question, bro.
Randy, I just have to say, after I saw the Red Onion documentary, I felt a kindred connection to you. Your love of the Wheel of Time books and D&D and the way that you articulate yourself and your story and the hard things you've been through. I just have a tremendous sense of kindred spiritedness. I don't have a question there necessarily, but if there's a way for us to correspond, and my heart broke when you had the bad experience moving away from role-playing games, man, I would just like to be your friend. And I know that you're in a tough spot, but yeah, if you can reach back out and we can connect and liaise in some way, maybe on JPay, man, I would love that. And if I don't hear from you, I'll try again. God bless you. Thank you, glorifying Jesus in the tough spot that you're in and sharing your stories, brother. All right, that's it.
A lot of people recently have reached out, through the phone number or sending emails to the editor of the website or what have you, wanting to get in contact with me. And that's pretty cool. I have no problem doing that. So for those of you who are serious about it, there's a couple of ways. Unfortunately, my call list is full. I don't have any more slots available for phone calls. So the only other two options that we have is you can go to jpay.com and sign up there on the email account. And I will say this, I have had a lot of people in the past actually add their name to my contact list on JPay. However, I never heard from them again. And I think the reason why that is because y'all expect the JPay email to work like y'all's email account on the street, and it doesn't do that. You have to set up the notification on your JPay app to actually notify you when an email from me arrives. Or you simply have to log into JPay and actually check the account to see if an email from me has arrived. Otherwise, JPay will not let you know that an email has shown up from me. The other way for you to contact me is through video visits. And for that, it's $4 for a 20-minute visit and $7 for a 50-minute visit, though they have been talking about lowering those prices and maybe even making the video visits free. We don't know. It's government, so that right there takes time. However, if you would like to set up a video visit, you can go to https://VADOC.GTLvisit.com/app. I'll actually talk my editor into putting that up on the website for those in case you didn't get it. The only thing I ask, if you do actually set up video visits, and I'm more than open to them. I actually really, really like video visits. It's easier. You get a little bit more time. I get to see you. You get to see me, and it's more of a better connection than just, a regular email. Though if you do sign up for it, please still sign up on JPay and just send me the date and time so that I can be prepared in advance, because sometimes they pass out a piece of paper in the morning letting you know when you have video visits. Sometimes they don't do it at all. Like today, for example, I have a video visit at 3 o'clock here in a little bit, and they never let me know. I had to actually go out and look at the video visit monitor and see my name up there, and my wife had told me yesterday that we had one for today. Otherwise, I could easily be on the record. For the love of God, please, do not set them up in the morning. That is my go outside, work out, get the stress off of me so I don't do something stupid time. 12 o'clock on after, I'm good. But that's if you want to contact me, those are the two best ways to do so. We also have a third option for those of you who actually sign up and join our Patreon and support us in what we're trying to do. We can set up a phone call through Zoom. You can, for example, if you want like a personalized message from me or something like that, we don't charge you extra for that, by the way. It's just the Patreon is $5 and that's what it is. And, if you send, hey, man, like, dude, I'm fucking depressed right now and I'm having a hard time getting out to bed. And, like, I will record something special just for you because you are, in fact, supporting me, and that means something to me. And I will do everything I can to help you, or we can set up a 3-way or something along those lines. But that is the third way that we can communicate and reach out to y'all.
My name is Amber, and I personally just listened to your podcast that you did with other people's lives on YouTube. And I wanted to take a second and say, first of all, the vulnerability that you exhibit in that episode with sharing a little bit of your story and what it's like in solitary, well done, because I know that must not always be an easy thing for you to speak about. I personally watch another former inmate that now does YouTube. Her name is Jessica Kent. I don't know if you've heard of her, but she doesn't talk about extensively solitary confinement. Like, that's not one of her big things. But I wanted to say the fact that you do and you're trying to raise awareness for what it's really like, I think that there's something to be said for that. And I think you're incredibly brave to share your story. And I just think that it's really cool that you're trying to help others, even though times have not always been easy for you. I am currently a psychology student in college, and I just find like the psychological aspect of things really fascinating. But I am sending you all the love, all the light, all the positivity. Keep doing what you're doing, and I'm sending you lots of love. And I hope you're doing well, and I hope you're excited for summer. And yeah.
You didn't really have a question per se, but just more of making a comment on the psychology of solitary confinement, and you listen to other podcasters talk about it. Without having a specific question that I can answer, the only thing I can really recommend is go back and re-listen to some of my older episodes. Like for example, I believe it's episode 8, A Torture Chamber. Because I do go into it pretty extensively in some of those earlier episodes about the psychology, about what it does to you, how it breaks you down, and so on and so forth. If you want to know something a little bit more specifically, you want me to fine-tune an answer, just call back in and, ask that question, and we will definitely record it, and we can either put it on an episode, or you could email the website, and I'll record the episode, or I'll record the answer, and my editor will just email it to you. All right, that's all the time we have for now. I appreciate you listening to me, more than you'll probably ever know. I just want to let you know, don't forget to check out my website, RedOnionRandy.com. And for those of you who want to hear more, or you want to listen to the episodes commercial-free, or hear me and my editor discuss a little bit further into the episodes, please go to Patreon, join me, support me. It's only $5 a month. And just a reminder, I have a cookbook out. You're going to eat that. You can find it on our website, or Amazon Kindle, or Amazon Print.
Thank you for using GTL.